Shalom, shalom. This is the brother Quadar Bun. I'd like to start off by saying all praise and honor and glory are given unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahak, Quadash. Double honors are given unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, men who have labored and suffered in this truth for over 30 plus years, making their lives and their bodies a living sacrifice. I also like to say shalom to the hopeful elect, the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, the various GMS camps, heads of those camps, also Akim not named GMS on the highways and hedges, bringing forth this 100% truth as taught to us all by the apostle elders of Great Millstone. One king, one spirit, one body, and Yahweh Shai to you all. Shalom. I wanted to bring forth a little quick video going in on our situation. Our situation here in Babylon the Great, aka America, And in doing so, I'm gonna bring out a few scripts and I'm gonna close out. But if I may, I want you all to hear this this inconsistency from Esau Edom. And with that, let me let the video play.
We reported at the top of this news hour that the CDC director said in the last hour on Fox News Channel that the Biden administration is looking at federally mandating COVID vaccines, which directly contradicted the White House statement today that it was not considering that move. Dr. Walensky has just clarified that comment. In a tweet reply to CNBC healthcare reporter Berkeley Lovelace, she wrote, "There will be no nationwide mandate. I was referring to mandates by private institutions and portions of the federal government. There will be no federal mandate." Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.
These folks are constantly contradicting themselves. There will be no nationwide mandate, says the Center for Disease Creation, Slovakia, the Center for Disease Control. But we know that to be a lie. Anyway, I can maybe go to pull another video up here. Have a few of them pulled up. Let's go here.
Republican lawmakers are executing a historic assault on voting rights across the country. That's why
Today I'm laying out additional steps we should be taking to deliver these life-saving vaccines to more Americans. First, we're going to provide more incentives.
It's like he's going to start stumbling. And what I mean by that is he's going to start giving these little weird coughs. I think it's a part of his tick when he lying, when he know he lying, But anyway, let's let the video continue.
To encourage unvaccinated Americans to get vaccinated. That starts with paid leave to get the shot. We're still hearing that people are unable to get time off from their employer to get vaccinated. Well, this is unacceptable. For some time now, I've said you should be able to get the shot and still get paid. Thanks to the American Rescue Plan, the federal government is fully reimbursing any small or medium-sized business that provides workers with paid time off to get vaccinated. Employers, this costs you nothing. If you haven't given employees paid time off, do it now, please. Today, I'm announcing that we're taking this a step further. The federal government will now reimburse those employers to give their staffs time off, not only to get themselves vaccinated, but also to get their family members vaccinated. That means employers can get reimbursed if they give parents time off with paid time, paid leave, to take their kids or their own parents to get vaccinated. So I'm calling on all employees across the country to give paid time off to get the shot or to help a family member do so. I promise you it will cost you, the employer, nothing. You'll be reimbursed. Secondly, I'm announcing that we'll continue to work with states to encourage unvaccinated people to get vaccinated. In February, the grocery store chain Kroger's offered $100 to their associates if they would get vaccinated. And it worked. Vaccination rates moved up from 50% to 75% among their employees. States like New Mexico, Ohio, and Colorado are offering similar incentive programs that have helped increase vaccination rates. So today, I'm calling on all states and local governments to use funding they have received, including from the American Rescue Plan, to give $100 to anyone who gets fully vaccinated. I know the paying people to get vaccinated might sound unfair to folks who've gotten vaccinated already. But here's the deal. If incentives help us beat this virus, I believe we should use them. We all benefit if we can get more people vaccinated. But in addition to providing incentives to encourage vaccination, it's time to impose requirements on key groups to make sure they're vaccinated. Excuse me. Just this week, we took an important step to protect our veterans. Like many civilian hospital systems are doing, the Department of Veterans Affairs will now require COVID-19 vaccines for doctors and nurses and other healthcare workers who provide medical care for our veterans. We must do everything possible to protect our veterans from getting COVID when they come to get medical care they so richly earned serving their country. We owe them. Next, since many vaccinations are required for active duty military today, I'm asking the Defense Department to look into how and when they will add COVID-19 to the list of vaccinations our armed forces must get. Our men and women in uniform who protect this country from grave threats should be protected as much as possible from getting COVID-19. I think this is particularly important because our troops serve in places throughout the world, many where vaccination rates are low and disease is prevalent. Next, every federal government employee will be asked to attest to their vaccination status. Anyone who does not attest or is not vaccinated will be required to mask no matter where they work, test 1 or 2 times a week to see if they've acquired COVID, socially distance, and generally will not be allowed to travel for work. Likewise, today,
Man, these devils are so open with their, they're wide open with their deceptiveness. I mean, in one breath he says they'll be asked, and in the next breath they'll be required, and you will not be able to go to work. You will not be able to travel to go to work. You have to quarantine. You have to be, you'll have to be tested. 2 or 3 times a week. Let's grab a quick script. Let's go down. I mean, we can see the writing on the wall. You can see the writing on the wall. Esau is not playing no games. We're in the 4th quarter with a few seconds left. It's evident. That little coffee guy, all of a sudden they come up because, he know he lying. It says, this is Psalms chapter 55 and verse 20, and it reads, he had put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. Hey, we're going to offer you all incentives, We heard this food chain, grocery store, Kroger's is incentivized their employees $100, and we found that it worked, It boosted them from 50% of being vaccinated to 75% being vaccinated. So no, there they go with that incentive trick again. This is what we're speaking about here. Psalms 55 and verse 20. He had put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. Yeah, but now they're not telling you the true, the hidden agenda that they got going on with these vaccinations and whatnot. It all sound good and dandy, talking about where they get into the elderly people and they start to worry the young, you gotten vaccinated yet? This type of buffoonery, Verse 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Hey, like I say, things are going to the wire. It's getting desperate. I'm in desperate times. I think it's like, I think Apostle Elder Ralamla say. It may be Apostle Elder Kabar says, you know, hey, when folks lose it all, shit, they ain't got nothing to lose. And I'm just paraphrasing. This is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12, straight to the point. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell therein. Slakia. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth. It's going to be some very, very, very bad times. It's woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil or the deceiver, and that's what you're hearing, a deceitful message being given by Joe Biden, Salakia, Joe Biden. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he know that he have but a short time. Now the higher ups, the people who are giving the president, quote, quote, Joe Biden, his speech to read from, they are aware of these chariots, you know. They see these things by way of their satellites. Even the Vatican has its own telescope, you know, see in space devices. You know, they see this. They see the host of the heavens gathering, monitoring, watching, keeping tabs. Esau, Edom, so-called white man, or rather the elites of them, are watching the holy ones watch them. And so, you know, they're getting desperate. They're getting downright desperate. I want to go back to that video, to another video here. I want to pull up another one. Because, you know, they're speaking, they're going back and forth and back, you know, about this and about that. I'm going to pull out a few more videos, a few more minutes, maybe 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes tops. And then I'm going to go into another few scriptures, and I'm going to close this out.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't stop watching. If you haven't heard about this, you might want to stick around. Democrats are launching all...
We reported at the top of this news hour that the CDC...
That's the wrong one. Let's go. I think this is it right here.
With this big spike in new cases, President Biden is expected to make an announcement about federal workers and vaccines. Our chief White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega, is there outside the White House with more for us. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hey, Robin, good morning to you. So we're talking about more than 2 million federal employees here. A lot of people. The federal government is actually the largest employer in the country. So this is going to impact a number of people. Let me tell you how this works. The government essentially is saying here, get vaccinated or otherwise face a number of pretty inconvenient requirements. You'll have to get tested regularly. You'll have to remain socially distant at work. We're talking about limited to no work travel. What they are not saying here, though, is if you're not vaccinated, you can't come to work. Or if you're not vaccinated, you'll get fired. A big question right now is the military. The Secretary of Defense, he's made it pretty clear, though. He said he's not comfortable with mandating this vaccine for the military until it has full FDA approval for the vaccine. We're not expecting that for another couple more months. This, though, is still a major shift for this administration. All along, they've said, look, we don't want to be the ones to mandate vaccines here. Clearly, at this point, they want the private sector to follow their lead on this one. They say the Delta variant wit has changed everything.
Sure has. All right, Cecilia, thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.
One more video, Aki. One more. Let's go.
The rise in cases around the country prompted the CDC. The rise in cases around the country prompted the CDC to recommend masks for everyone in schools, including students, staff, and visitors. But Governor Ron DeSantis plans to punish school districts that make masks mandatory. He wants to take away their funding. News 6's Nikki Zizaza took a closer look at the governor's order. She joins us now live from the newsroom tonight. And Nikki, this order takes aim at school districts.
That's right, Ginger. In Governor Ron DeSantis' latest executive order, he is blocking mask mandates in schools statewide, leaving it up to parents to choose and going against recommendations from the CDC and state health experts who are urging students to mask up. In a speech in Cape Coral, Governor Ron DeSantis announced a sweeping executive order barring school districts from requiring students K through 12 to wear masks.
And what I want to empower parents to be able to make the best decisions they can for the well-being of their children.
This order directing the Florida Department of Health and Education to allow parents the right to choose.
We really do need to make sure that the parents' rights are protected.
Governor DeSantis opposing recommendations from the CDC and health experts like the Florida chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
This is an equal opportunity virus. It will find a susceptible person and will infect them.
The order states children are at low risk of contracting serious illness due to COVID-19 and do not play a significant role in spreading the virus. However, Dr. Mobeen Rathmore says,
it is true that compared to adults, children often do not get as sick. But children do get sick. They do get into the hospital. They do get into the ICU. They do get intubated and be on a ventilator, and they do die of this disease.
Governor Ron DeSantis cited a Brown University study that reported COVID-19 data for Florida had no correlation with mask mandates. Brown University issuing this statement to News 6, saying in part, "We did not consult with Governor DeSantis on these issues. Our paper is currently a preprint, undergoing peer review. It relies on data from the 2020-2021 school year, prior to the emergence of the more contagious Delta variant." Dr. Rathmore urging parents to follow science-based guidance.
At this time, there is absolutely no evidence that wearing masks anywhere has a negative impact on children.
Insisting unmasking doesn't support science.
We do know that not going to school has a negative impact on children. We do know if the children get infected, it has a very negative impact.
Now the governor's move comes days after the CDC recommended masks be worn in K through 12 schools. The order also goes as far as giving the state board authority to withhold funds if school boards do not comply with the Parents' Bill of Rights law. In the newsroom, Nikki Zizaza, Getting Results, News 6.
Nikki,
if you're suffering from cataract.
Well, you hear it, Shepard Smith. He used to be with Fox News, and he's going on the back for the new CBS and CBS News, which he works for now. And this goes to show you, man, these people are hypocritical. They're liars. They read from these pre-written scripts that are handed to them, and they just go along with the program. Juiced in, for lack of better words. Because this same man, he was, when he was with Fox, it was, raise it to the foundation. When it came to MSNBC, CNN, and any other newscasting or news platform that was not affiliated with Fox, But having said that, now he's going on the lam for these so-called Democrats, and the CDC says that they're not mandating this and that and the third. But and that was the quote that Fox News had made was a contradiction to what President Biden had actually said. But you heard Biden say itself that they were going to require. It for lack of better words, he was mandating that all federal personnel, that work for the government. And if we know history, as we know, the affirmative action was set into place so that so-called blacks, could get federal jobs and get, put at the front line of jobs. But a lot of these federal jobs are held by so-called black people. You understand? And that's a unknown fact that flies under the radar because, the majority of people don't, are not into, fact finding, looking into what these people are actually saying, But, enough rambling. Let me, I want to go to the book of Baruch. Yeah, I'm going to go to the book of Baruch. And I have it here. It's like here. Let's see. This is the book of Baruch. Because you heard that governor said that he wanted to put the rights into the hands of the parents and whatnot. You have no rights here, you know. So-called blacks, Latino, Native Americans. You have no rights here in this place, you know. It's going to be soon time to pick up and what you got, just like Yahweh said in Matthew's. Let me see. Let me get it before I get to Baruch. Let's go there real quick. You know, you're going to have to pick up everything you got and just keep it moving. You know, you can't. It's going to come that time. You know, if you understand what time you're in. Let's see. Cause iniquities abound. It says, when therefore see loneliness and desolation, that flee to the mountains. It says, check this out here. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 17. It says, let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of the house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For there shall be a great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be, except those days should be shortened. There should be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And we closer to that time than anything, you know. Talking about some, you know, making incentives, you know, for that these people can come get that damn vaccination and whatnot. Man, this ain't nothing but games, smoke and mirrors. These folks is running game. You understand? That's all this is. And like I said, they pushing this mandate. You know, they getting where they using different language. You know, just listen to the language as it changed ever so slightly. You know, we're not gonna do this week, but next week is we. You know, it's as though they never said what they said last week. They're willingly absent-minded of the things that they just said yesterday, and they can do that because the majority of the people. The 2/3 of our nation, you know what I'm saying? They about a 5-second memory anyway. But let me go into the book of Baruch. This is Baruch chapter 1, and I'm gonna start at verse 19, and it reads. Let's pull that down. It says, since the day that the Lord brought our forefathers out of the land of Egypt unto this present day, we have been disobedient to the Lord our power, and we have been negligent in not hearing his voice. And how you're not hearing his voice? When you out there when we're out there on highways and hedges, doing the Lord's bidding, bringing forth these scriptures, bringing forth the gospel, bringing forth the laws, statutes, commandments, for the sake of the nation of Israel. Let's be quite honest. We're in hopes that the 1/3 of the nation of Israel hears this, so that the Lord can go about his business of what he has prophesied he's gonna do. Because ultimately he has to open up the minds of the remnant. Thus the men of the Lord have to be out on highways and hedges bringing forth this. So, you know, just being and not hearing his voice, that goes into your own lack thereof. You know. Verse 20 says, wherefore the evil cleave unto us, and the curse, because this is a curse. And we're living out the last few moments of this curse that the Lord has bestowed on us for that disobedient behavior, you know, for that not listening, you know, for not doing as we were told when he gave these laws, statutes, commandments unto our forefather Moses. It says, wherefore the evil cleave unto us, and the curse, which the Lord appointed by Moses his servant at the time that he brought our fathers out of the land of Egypt, to give us a land that flowed with milk and honey, like it is to see this day. Verse 21, nevertheless, we have not hearkened, we have not listened, right down to the day, unto the voice of the Lord our power, according unto all the words of the prophecy, whom he sent unto us. We're in a time of prophecy now. And me and a brother, Tazaria, we sat down and we talked about the importance of reading the Bible and how the Christians, so-called Christians, because they're not Christians, they're not true followers of Hamashiach Yahushua, do not understand prophecy because they're too busy dealing with those feel-good verses, for lack of better words. But let's keep moving. It says in verse 22, it says, but every man followed the imagination of his own wicked heart. And that's what we're seeing, to serve strange gods and to do evil in the sight of the Lord our power. Verse chapter 2, it says, therefore the Lord had made his word which is pronounced against us and against our judges and judges. Salakia. Therefore the Lord had made good his word which he pronounced against us and against our judges that judge Israel, and against our kings, and against our princes, and against the men of Israel and Judah, to bring upon us great plagues. And this is not a great plague. This is not the beginning of some very, very bad times. You being forced to do things, to live an uncomfortable life, you understand? You're being forced to do things that you may not want to do, that you don't want to do. In some cases, maybe you want to. I don't know, But to the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, these men, they're not gonna do this, Lord willing, the Lord keep the spirit on the men that are doing the work, that sigh and cry, to not even deal with this madness. It says, verse 2, to bring upon us great plagues such as never happened under the whole heaven. And we just read that as well in Matthew's, a great tribulation that has never been and never will be. Let's get that again. Where it is. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 21. It says, for then shall be great tribulation such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Back to Baruch 2 and 2, to bring upon us great plagues such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it come to pass in Jerusalem according to the thing that were written in the law of Moses, that a man should eat the flesh of his own son and the flesh of his own daughter. For moreover, he had delivered them to be subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, to be as a reproach and desolation amongst all the people around about, where the Lord has scattered them. Verse 5, thus we are cast down and not excellent, because we have sinned against the Lord our power and have not been obedient unto his voice. And it's high time that we become obedient, that we do what is required of us. You understand? And this goes right over the head of the 2/3. They're going to do what they're going to do. Everybody's going to attend to that lot. But this, I'm going to close out with this one. This is Baruch 3, starting at verse 8. And it reads, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us. We are still in our captivity. There's no freedom. There's no rights. As you heard that governor of Florida say. I think that was Florida. But anyway, that governor, you heard him say that give the rights to the parents. Why should you be giving any rights if they're your children? Why do they have to come out and make these statements? You understand? That goes right over the head of a person unlearned. They're giving you rights. Those are your children. You understand? Those are your children. But us in the know, we understand the way this go. Just keeping it real. We understand what's really going on. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou scattered us for a reproach. There it is again, and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all thy iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. Understand? Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom. How happened it, Israel, that thou art in thy enemy land, that thou art waxed old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead. And we're trying to separate ourselves from these dry bones. These Israelites that are dead from the neck up, we're separating ourselves. And the Lord is doing a beautiful work, because he, as this word goes out, he does his sifting. He gives us the spirit unto those he has chosen. Lord willing, we are of that number. Verse 11, and it says, that thou art counted with them that go down into the grave. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom. I mean, these laws, statutes, commandments are the fountain of wisdom. And you're forsaking that for going after these other gods, going after these other idols and whatnot, Because the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is not an idol. He is our power. And there is none that stands beside him. All these other gods and idols and all this other buffoonery and madness and whatnot is figment, is the imagination of these nations. And we've fallen suit. Just walking around in the ditch with shoes off. It says, for if thou hadst walked in the way of power, thou shouldest have dwell in peace forever. Forever. One more script and I'm going to close this out. This is chapter 4, verse 1. It says, thus is the book of commandments our power, and the law that endured forever. All that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. And that's what we're witnessing. Because, see, the faith of these people, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native, and Central American, hey, your faith is showing forth that you don't have faith in the Most High. They breaking out incentives and they breaking out all the tricks in the book, But now, hey, like I said, death will be given unto those with no faith, and life will be given unto those who practice the laws, statutes, and commandments, rehearse the righteous acts to the best of their ability. And that's starting from the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone on down to the younger brothers and even the babies in the spirit, such as myself. And with that, I want to say all praise and honor and glory given unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rahakadash, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And with that, Shalom.